On today's episode of the CLS Experience, we have a very exclusive treat. She's a dynamic, multifaceted actress, dancer, one of the world's most exciting comedians, and former NFL cheerleader, just to name a few. She's been on the hit show Mad TV and had her own Comedy Central special called This Is How We Do It, as well as several features on Netflix, No Big Deal. She's a best-selling author of the instant classic, Who Do I Think I Am? And she's selling out theaters across the globe. She's just a juggernaut in all facets of life and a terrific human being. Please welcome the beautiful, brilliant, hilarious, and inspirational Anjelah Johnson-Reyes. How you doing, Anjelah?
I'm good. Thank you. What a powerful intro. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. You feel a little elevated?
Yeah, I'm like, who is he talking about? She sounds incredible.
I always get such a kick out of the guest reaction. Like I always say, it's your story. You wrote it. I just said it.
Yeah. That's special.
What's funny is you and I were about to go on a crazy rant together, and we're like, wait a minute, should we hit record first? Because this stuff is so juicy. Look, for the audience listening, we're about a few million now. The show is exploding. I say very humbly, if you're not familiar with Anjelah, do yourself a favor. Do a deep dive. Check out any of her content, all the cool stuff she has going on, please. What I think is most valuable today is we just have an unbelievable conversation. Before we jump in, we're going to get a little weird. You ready for me, Anjelah?
Huh.
What is your superpower?
I would say my superpower is this is gonna sound real cheesy, but I think loving people. I think loving people and accepting people and having grace for people. I don't always have it. Like there's definitely times where I'm human and I have a hard time exuding that. But I think that I've been in the position that I am today because I can love people well.
Love that you just said that. I was literally talking about this earlier today because someone said that I was very empathetic, and I used to not be like that. And now I'm almost empathetic to a fault. I literally want to see the best in people. I want to see everybody win, and sometimes it'll bite you in the butt. But for the most part, we can't give up on humanity. We always want to see the best of people, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's hard.
Yeah,
for sure. You know, especially if you're not having the best day yourself, if you are not in alignment yourself that morning and you're rushed that day, you didn't have time to do your morning routine or whatever you do in the morning, your affirmation, your meditation, your whatever it is that you do. So you caught me off guard with your funky attitude. And now I got to tap into the well of work that I've done over myself for all the years, hoping that I respond to your nastiness with a deep well of love, because right now is real shallow because I didn't get my coffee. I didn't do my journaling. So I'm real shallow. So sometimes it's hard.
This is awesome. And you mentioned the routines and you started naming some things. I got to ask you, I love to ask the world's greats every day, especially when you're on the road traveling. What are some non-negotiables for you that you have to do for yourself every day?
Oh, let's see. Practice gratitude is one of them. Whether it's with a group of people or just myself, but there's something powerful in saying out loud things that you're grateful for. Especially when I have anxiety or things like that. That's one of my tools to jump out of anxiety is I will think about something I'm grateful for. And then I will say it out loud. And then I will hear myself say the thing that I'm grateful for, and it'll come back in. And it's like a big circle of gratitude, elevating my vibration, changing my perspective from whatever I was stressed about or insecure about or anxious about. And it's definitely one of my go-to tools. Stretching is another one that I love to do, move my body. Stretching is a good one. And sometimes I have time in the hotel before I leave. Other times I'm at the airport, just stretching right before I walk onto the plane, just getting a couple, sometimes I'm on the plane over by the bathroom, just getting a good like squat in and like reaching over. And I'm just like, don't mind me, to the flight attendants, just like, I got to get my stretch on.
That was me yesterday because we flew back from my fiance, and I ran the Chicago Marathon on Sunday.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I ran one, if I'm being honest. But I was stretching on the plane. People were probably looking at me like I was crazy. But I totally get it. You mentioned the word vibrations, and we're going to come back to that. I know you're big on this stuff, and it's so exciting. But I wanted to ask you, from looking at your content, to show this conversation the respect it deserves, but also homework is easy to do for you because I'm a fan. Is it true you're a tomboy?
Yes, I would say so. I've definitely worked on um my femininity over the past few years. And learned a lot about masculine energy, feminine energy, operating from those different spaces. I've learned that. And because I used to own my tomboyness, like to the fullness, like this is my identity, this is who I am. And then I started realizing it was a security blanket. It was something to protect me from whatever I was hiding from, shame from my body, shame from growing up with religious trauma. I wore tomboy like a cape. Like that's where I felt most confident. So over the past few years, I have been working on being comfortable in my own skin and being okay with feminine aspects of myself and being okay with flowing in femininity. So I've been working on that actually, but tomboy is my easiest go to when I'm comfortable. I definitely got a little swagger in me, throw me some sweats and tennies. I mean, even right now, I just have my sweats on and I'm just very much like, yo. So I feel very comfortable and comfortable, really, just like this is where okay, I'm good here, you know.
And for the audience that can't see, she does look super fresh right now.
Yeah.
Masculine and feminine, this is a gripping conversation, and I know you love this stuff. It's something that I've recently started to finally understand. That I never used to get it. For me, and I'd love to hear your perspective. When I think of the masculine, I think of like grind, like do. And when
Right.
I think of operating from the feminine, I think of more like be, allow, right? Like let the universe
Yeah.
be available and so
Uh-huh.
forth. Would you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. And I had a friend explain it to me in a way, like, even if you think about sex, the male is is the motion, the action, right? Like it's go. It's the masculine is go. And the female is be and receive, right? So it's kind of graphic what I'm doing right now, but it's like the penis goes into the vagina and the
Actually,
male,
brilliant.
you know what I mean? And it's
Yes.
just like it's the pump, it's the energy, it's the go, it's the angst, the oof, and the woman, it's the receive of it all. So it's the masculine, the feminine, and again, that's in a male and a female, obviously, but that's how my friend had explained it to me once, and I was like, oh, I understand what you're saying.
To be honest with you, that was brilliant, and it makes perfect sense. For someone that is a tomboy or is a go-getter like you are, was it challenging for you to really find alignment in allowing, right, and being able to receive in the feminine?
Yeah. I mean,
Same.
so you're asking like, is it hard for me to receive in the feminine? Can you tell me your question one more time so I
Yeah,
can make sure?
like to operate from that specific frequency to
Uh-huh.
allow as opposed to grind, do. Is that challenging for you?
Oh, for sure. So especially being in a male dominated industry of stand-up comedy and touring, um, and just in the world in general, like women, we have to show up in whatever space, whatever boardroom you're in, whatever, you trying to get that promotion, you're up for this against these three people, this two guys and that girl. Like there's something about you have to put on this masculine energy and go get what I want, and then switch it off when you're with your partner or whoever. Like I know my husband is attracted to a feminine energy, and it's hard sometimes to balance go get it, get after it, like sell these tickets, promote these shows, go on this tour, wake up, go to the next city, next city, come home, and then be soft for my husband. And because I know that's what he likes, and that's what I like too. I want to be soft and taken care of by him, but it's almost like you got to switch the hat of I was just in my very strong masculine go, and now I gotta be like, let's just be still,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's funny because that's when you really start to manifest stuff. right? When you're in that like allowing frequency and you're available and you're a vibrational match, so to speak. And there's that word again, vibration. I used to be skeptical of this stuff. I was a big NLP guy, mindset. It was beyond my senses. It was hard for me to fathom. And then I bought in, and I've been in the quantum, and I say in quotations, ever since. Energy field, whatever you want to call it. I can't get enough of this stuff. I love to talk about it. I know you're super big on it too. For the audience that's listening, it's like, that sounds great, but like, what does that mean? Frequencies and vibrations. How would you describe that?
So I would say, and this is something that I, again, have been learning over the past few years, coming out of very conservative religion, and where energy and things like that are like taboo. It's witchcraft. It's like, don't buy into it. It's evil, you know? But I no longer subscribe to that thinking. I believe that we are all energetic beings. And as I ask more questions and unlearn a lot of things that I was taught growing up and that I considered my foundation, I've been doing a lot of unlearning and learning of things like energy and things like our inner child, our archetypes. I have my little saboteur that likes to sabotage things a lot. I have, you know, my mother wounds, my father wounds, my ancestors, their DNA within me. Like, I'm learning so much about it. And I would say, to me, energy is like, we're all energetic beings. Our thought, everything, our thoughts are real. Like, it's not, be careful of what you think. It's not just like, oh, because what you think is going to come out of your mouth, but it's like, what you think, you're manifesting. It's a real tangible thing. And so it's like, whatever we're thinking, we say it and we manifest it. And it's, I don't know, it's very big and simple at the same time. Yeah. It's hard to just say, oh, well, it's this. I mean, unless you're Joe Dispenza, I'm sure he could just say, oh, it's
Dr. Joe. But it's so true. Your thoughts have a frequency. They're a thing, right? Yeah. And it's like, here's the best part about this stuff. If you're getting certain results in your life, it's feedback that's really what you're manifesting, because that's what you're thinking about, right? Because you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. So if you don't like the results you're getting, it's listen, let's change the thoughts and be strategic with the ones we allow to take up real estate, so we can create new beliefs and new vibes, so to speak, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because I'll catch myself sometimes, not as much anymore because I've worked on it, but I'm not a confrontational person. I play that a little bit in my character and my stand-up. I'm very like tough, like, I'll fight you if I have to, girl. Don't come for me. Like, let me take my hoops off. I'm very much like, I can put on this character that's like, I wish you would try to fight me. But in actuality, I am not confrontational. I am, if you know about Enneagrams, I'm 9, I'm peacemaker. My husband's 8, he's a challenger. He's a debater. He wants to like, come with your facts, I'll come with my facts, and let's debate this. And I shut down immediately. Oh my God, I lost the question that you asked because I went on a tangent about Enneagram.
We were talking about manifesting not what you want, but what you are.
Yeah. Okay. So in my thoughts, I used to go on tangents in arguments because I couldn't have the argument in person. I would never know what to say in the moment. If I was in a disagreement, and they were like, okay, well, what are your facts? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I don't have facts. And then like later on that day, when I'm taking a shower, I'd be like, oh, I should have said this, and I should have said this. And I come up with the best comebacks 2 days later when I'm in the shower. Those are when my best comebacks arrive in my mind. So I used to like replay arguments in my head, and I would get worked up all the time. But your body does not know that it's just an imagination. It's just a little dream, a daydream that you're having. Your body thinks that you're getting in this argument again, you're getting in this fight again. And I started to cut those thoughts off. And I would be like, actually, there's no point to this, Anjelah. What is this feeding you? What is this doing for you? Are you going to feel better at the end of this when you won the argument in your head? You're not going to feel better. You're still worked up. Look at now your adrenal glands, everything. Now you just all over the place. So I used to get worked up in my brain a lot about things. And now I've learned to let things go and be like, you know what? Maybe this person was having this type of day. You know what? Maybe my dad is incapable of saying this type of thing, like whatever conversation or argument I was in. So I've learned to try to manage my thoughts and catch myself when I am going down a path and be like, you know what? This is not fruitful. Let me just redirect, focus my energy somewhere else.
Yeah, you got nuggets today. That's all I got out of that. Only negative I got going on is we don't have 10 hours to chat. But I understand what you mean. And it seems like some of this stuff is almost hard for you to comprehend. Like you're so into it now. It's a little confusing, right? But it works. And the best thing to do for the audience listening now is to just be mindful and be aware that you have a choice, right? You can control the thoughts. Thoughts are random, but thinking is not. So before we get a lot of negative thoughts, you could be more strategic on the ones you allow, and then you can create a higher vibe, right? And then you become a match for good stuff to happen. And if you're ever having a shitty day or you're not yourself, it's feedback that you're further away from the energy field, the quantum, the vortex, whatever you want to call it.
I love it. This conversation we're having, because I will give you a bunch of sporadic thoughts for your listeners, and then you put it into an eloquent way that they can understand.
Unbelievable alignment right here. I have to ask you this off topic, right up the cuff. When did you first discover that you were hilarious?
Oh, thank you. My whole family is funny. My siblings are hilarious. My dad is hilarious. My mom, she's cute. She likes to say I'm funny too, which she is. She can be funny, but it's my dad's side of the family that's hilarious. My grandpa, I grew up with him playing pranks on people our whole life. He's in his 90s. He still loves to play pranks, and his biggest one that he does is he'll get a rubber cockroach. And he always wears the same thing every day. He'll wear a collared button-up shirt with a pocket and suspenders and his pants. And he'll put a rubber cockroach in his pocket on his chest.
Oh my
and
goodness.
tie clear fish wire to it. And he'll put the fish wire around his neck. And while he's at the grocery store standing in line, he'll pull the fish wire so it looks like a cockroach comes crawling out of his pocket so he can try to scare the register person, the person ringing up his groceries. That's like his go-to prank that he likes to do. And so I grew up with a prankster. I grew up watching my dad get the laugh in every conversation. Like that's what you do. Somebody says something and you hit him with this. Somebody says something, you hit him with this. And so my siblings, I'm not the funniest one in my family by far.
Really?
My brother Kenny is definitely the most hilarious one. On our group chat text message that we have, it's hilarious. But my brother, before I can even type in a response, he already got it. He's so quick. He's so quick-witted. And but I'm just the one who's made a living off of our collective personality, I like to say, because they're all hilarious.
You found your gifts and you're making a difference because you're bringing a lot of joy to a lot of people. Was comedy your dream even back in the day when you were growing up?
No. I didn't know that I was funny because my whole family is funny. So it's just, we were just being normal. This is who we are. We laugh a lot. We make people laugh. Like just what we do. I never thought of myself as like, I could do this as a profession until I moved to Hollywood to be an actress. I thought I was going to be a dramatic actress. I was going to play a rape victim on Law & Order SVU. That was my goal. And I was going to be this dramatic actress. And when I was young, I would like pretend do like my Oscar acceptance speech in the mirror. And like, I was just going to be this dramatic actress. And then I moved to LA and I started doing comedy. I took a free joke writing class at a church because it was free and I was broke. And I was like, well, sure, I'll take a class. It's free. No worry. Like, why not? And one of the first jokes that I wrote in the class was this nail salon bit that ended up blowing up on YouTube years later. And it blew up my spot. And I started doing stand-up comedy. People started requesting me. It was like back in MySpace days. So my MySpace page started blowing up from all over the world. Hey, when are you coming to perform in Australia? When are you coming to the Philippines? When are you coming, all over the United States? And I was like, oh my God, I only have 12 minutes of material because I wrote that in this class, this free class at a church. I'm not even a real stand-up comedian. Like, what do I do with all of this? And that was the beginning of the rest of my life for me. All these executives in Hollywood saw that video and called me in for meetings. Hey, we want to meet with you at NBC, CBS, ABC. All these networks wanted to meet with me because they saw this nail salon video. And that's how I ended up booking Mad TV. And I ended up getting my first hour special with Comedy Central. And then cut to here I am. I just recorded my 6th 1-hour special here in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium last weekend.
Bang, congratulations.
Dang.
What an awesome story, right? Like sometimes like you just take a second and you're telling it like you can never connect the dots looking forward, only backwards, but like that free class led to this. And then everybody was reaching out to you and then you were available. What an awesome journey. And you're just getting warmed up.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I think so. I mean, I had no idea this was going to be my life, what it is now. And there's sometimes where I sit back and in my reflection time when I'm talking to God and I'm like, man, I had no idea that this is what my life would be, that you were going to do this. Like, what a surprise, what a blessing, what a surprise. And then I'll be like, well, what else? What's next? Like, it's not like I just get one surprise of life and that's it. Surprise, you're a comedian. No, it's like, oh, I wonder what else I can position myself to receive for, because that's what we got to do is a lot of times, especially when you have achieved a little bit of success, then all of a sudden you get a little like, well, how can I top that? And then you kind of get a little closed off out of fear, out of like, oh, but what do I do? Oh, but how do I do this? Oh, but look at this person skyrocketing and I'm not. Oh, look at here. And then you start comparing yourself. And next thing you know, you're not positioned to receive greatness, to receive favor, to receive blessings, to manifest goodness because you're in this position of fear.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's so relatable to me. And I love the perspective, the paradigm shift right there, right? Like, and it's not a greedy thing. It's just like, oh, what else is there? I know we're not done yet. And then you kind of superset your blessings and so forth. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can get stuck in a lack mindset, especially if you grew up in that. And that's your instinct is to go back to that. Something good happens, something bad's going to happen.
I see it all the time, especially with my close family.
Yes. And I can get in that place too. Like too many good things are happening. And I'm like, somebody's going to die. Somebody else is going to die. This is too good. You know what I mean? So I get it. Like there is that human nature to, it's too good to be true. There's no way. Like something bad has to happen. There's no way. You know what I mean?
But that's really our ego, right? Or the devil, whatever you want to call it. Like we're actually on a different perspective, are meant to be abundant, meant to be a part of the infinite, right? Like not separate ways, but all one ocean. But then we get the ego telling us, oh, we don't deserve that, or whatever you want to call it. And we have to put systems in place to block out that interference. Otherwise, it'll drive us crazy.
Yeah. It's the you don't deserve that. It's the you're a fraud. You're not as good as people say. It was
Imposter.
A fluke.
Yeah.
Yes, imposter. It was a fluke. Those videos went viral. That was try to do it again. Let's see if you could do it again then. All of that ego and just self-sabotage that we can do to ourselves.
Do you have a skit on this? Because you could I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I was trained for this marathon, right? And then everything was hunky dory. I could do this all day. Mile 16, bang, voices in my head, demonic. Who do you think you are? Get off the course. I thought we had this, but you have to battle that, just like in life. But it's so true. I see all the time, even myself, like, and I say very humbly, when I pivoted and reinvented myself, I've had a lot of success. And sometimes it's like, all right, at some point this is going to stop and we just got a book deal and there's so many other things going on, but I need to do better at believing that all the abundance is just getting started and not getting that like other perspective. Oh, this is going to top off soon, or you're not worthy of this, or you don't have the experience, or who's going to believe that, and so forth.
All of that. And then tie that in with comparison when you see your peers doing something else and it's I love to support my friends. Like I said in the beginning, I love well, and I make sure to support my friends in everything that they're doing. And you cannot help but see a friend, whether it's in the entertainment industry or you're a stay-at-home mom, and you see your friend have her husband brought her flowers home and your husband hasn't brought you flowers and who knows when, you can't help but go, that's sweet that she got flowers from her husband. Good for them. They're doing well. You can't help but then look at yourself and go, when did I get flowers last? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
in my industry, like, I can see my friend booked this TV show, and they're, series regular on this TV show. They're going on their second season. I'm like, I am so happy for her. I remember when we both started and this was our dream. And I see her and I genuinely, with all my heart, go, yes, for you. I am so happy for you. And then I can't help but then look at me and go, man, I've pitched so many TV shows and they always tell me no. I've auditioned so many times. Am I gonna hear another yes ever? Like, man, I've auditioned the past 17 times, heard no. Like, you can't help but then compare your journey to somebody else's, and then it's getting back into alignment. You know what? My journey is my own. I am right where I'm supposed to be. You put those blinders on and you stay the course, because your journey is your journey. And then there's somebody looking at me going, oh, she just shot her 6-hour special. I only have one, what am I doing, or whatever. There's somebody doing the same thing about me comparing to their life. It's just like never ending.
This is awesome stuff, because like we're having a good time, we're laughing, but this is really serious stuff, like the comparison syndrome and stuff like that. And it can really like paralyze you. It can immediately take you out of a good state. And you just nailed it. You said something awesome that reminded me of like mile 22 in the marathon a couple of days ago, like when I got a little bit banged up at the end with the wall and I saw people flying by, and I'm like, you know what? My race, my pace, good for them. I don't know what time they started, so that's something that I kind of grounded myself and brought myself back to. What are some other techniques that you use when that does start to surface to ground yourself?
So other techniques are, my go-to one right now is I remind myself that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And that really helps me. It reminds me I'm not too late. I'm not too early. I'm not too old. I'm not too young. I'm just right where I'm supposed to be. So let's now start from this place moving forward. And this comes from working in therapy a lot. When I would write material, a lot of times I was writing from shame, from a place of like, I should be writing more jokes. I've been doing this same set for too long. I need to be writing more jokes. And I would start writing from a place of shame that I wasn't already writing. And like, you should be better than this. You should be writing more. I was writing from this place. Like, you're like, I'm mad at myself. I'm scolding myself.
Mhm.
Instead of radically accepting where I'm at and being like, okay, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Let me write from this place of freedom, from this place of joy, from this place of just observing life, and not because I have this big scary monster with a whip who's going to spank me because I haven't been doing it right. And really it's myself holding it up to myself.
Yeah.
Instead of being in that place. So I like to radically accept where I'm at. I am right where I'm supposed to be. And then move forward in that place of grace for myself in whatever it is that I'm working on. Getting my health back together. I started letting myself go for a little bit. I was seeing it in my own pictures and my videos, and I start getting comments from people online like, ooh, she gained weight. Ooh, is she pregnant? Ooh, all these things. And I'm like, I know that I've been just eating late night on the road, not working out, all the things. And then now I see other people also notice it. And so instead of like beating myself up for getting to this place and being like, see, you're not as tight, you're blah, 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 you need to start working out, I radically accept where I'm at, that, hey, I enjoyed those late night meals. I enjoyed those fried chicken strips and the French fry. Oh, those were so good. I enjoyed that. And now I from this place of acceptance, I say, okay, so today let's make a healthy choice. Let's do a salmon. Let's do a grilled salmon today. Let's do a salad. You know what? Let's work out for at least 20 minutes. Let's at least give myself 20 minutes, do a Pilates video on YouTube. Let's do that. And I start moving forward in that energy of grace for myself and radical acceptance. I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
You really are a beautiful soul. This is really deep stuff, straight up. Like, and acceptance, that's really powerful, right? And just to be clear, like, just because you accept the situation doesn't mean you have to love it, but you accept it. And it takes the pressure off. Says, this is where we're at. Here's what we can do next, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like trying, you get bad news that you got a disease, right? And I remember in church, we grew up like, we don't accept that. We don't claim that. Like, oh, I don't feel good. No, we don't say that. We, speak things that aren't as though they are. And we don't accept that we have this cancer in the body. Like I came from that world, right? And I get what we're trying to say with that. But I think there's something about, you can't heal from something that you're pretending you don't have. You have to accept that you have this. Accept whatever it is in your body, this ailment, this disease, whatever it is, you radically accept it. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And from this place, you move forward with claiming your healing, professing your healing, speaking things that aren't as though they are, manifesting the healthy body, seeing yourself in your mind healthy, running that marathon without that disease, walking out of the hospital, ringing the bell because you're cancer free. You start seeing yourself that way, but you can't see yourself that way if you're pretending you don't have this thing.
This is great. Yeah, hell yeah. And acceptance doesn't mean approval, right? But at the same time, you can't change it if you can't see it.
Yeah. Then that comes to ownership too. There's people who can play the victim.
Most people.
Right. A lot.
I've been there.
We all have our inner victim for sure. But when you can take responsibility for your actions, for your thoughts, for your habits, for the things that led you into this place, ownership is like step one.
Hell yeah. And like, I exercise radical ownership these days, like radical accountability. Like if somebody on my team doesn't get the result that we desired, instead of like blaming them, I'm like, all right, what could I have done to communicate it a little bit more effectively for them to do the task a little bit better? And and just to be clear, like it doesn't always mean that we're in the wrong, but if you take that approach to life, you're never going to be a victim because you're always assuming some sort of responsibility. And it's a much more powerful frequency to operate from.
Yes. And I will say, devil's advocate, whatever, on the other side, to those who have that, like almost that false humility of everything is my fault. And you have to practice the opposite of like, yes, you take ownership for your part, but then there's also toxic relationships. There's also toxic connections that you have that you maybe need to unlink, because that is not fruitful for you. And you keep blaming yourself. You keep saying, oh, my fault. I did this, I did that. Sure, there's some ownership in there, but also maybe let's take a look at this relationship, this working relationship, this whatever it is. I feel like that all comes down to like knowing yourself, knowing which side you're on and being honest with yourself, like an honest, real assessment. Like I play the victim a lot. I definitely think about like, I'm always pointing the finger at somebody else. Well, this happened because they did this. Well, this happened because my flight got canceled. Well, this happened because this. Well, this happened because I didn't get through security in enough time. Well, did you wake up early enough? Did you whatever? So you have to know which side you're on. Are you on this side that you're the victim always? Are you on this side where it's like, everything's my fault? Everything's my fault. Yeah. Everything's my fault. That you're not going to move forward with that either. Then you're just get stuck here. Yeah. Just like, everything's my fault.
You nailed it. And like, I feel very close to you. I'm just connected. To be honest, like my fiance, love her more than life itself. But something I'm trying to help her out with is like unlinking some of those past toxic relationships, right? It's like, there's an old expression, I forgot how it goes, something along the lines of stop like blaming the clowns, stop going to the circus or something like that. Basically, it's like, if you want a different result, like change what you're doing or change your thought process. Like it's not their fault, it's your fault for not being aware that when you interact with those cats, they have the ability to lower your frequency or lower your vibe, or they're not the best influencer. Maybe you've outgrown them, so to speak.
Those are big girl decisions.
Yeah.
Those are,
I like the way you worded that.
yeah, let me tell you, to get to the place where you can say I've outgrown that, one, you've done a lot of work because you have outgrown something. And then the awareness of outgrowing it, and then to make the healthy decision for yourself, that's big girl stuff.
Yeah. And it's tough, right? And look, like it's something that because I'm a performance coach now, and I see so many people struggling with detaching from old relationships. And something that I've learned, and I like to say, like, nobody has a whole past to be there forever. People are in your life for a season and a reason. If there's a select few that have the ability to make it through the whole journey, that's awesome. Hopefully you're a family. But some people are in there for a season and reason, maybe to teach you a lesson.
And hopefully you're also being the best version of yourself for that person that's there for the reason in the season, like whatever that is, like in marriage, even in marriage, we marry till death do us part, but really you can't take advantage of that. Like, okay, unpopular opinion here. Like if someone cheats on their spouse, right? Let's just say for the sake of storytelling, here's a guy who cheated on his wife, right? And there's some people in the school of thought that was just like, he's the bad guy. He cheated on his wife, period. You cheated, you're in the wrong. But there's also, we don't know this couple, so we're going deep now, we're in the therapy session. Has this husband communicated to his wife, hey, I need more time from you. I need more affection from you. I need more of this from you. And maybe she blew him off. And maybe she was like, I'm too busy. I'm this, whatever. And then he went and someone else started giving him all the things that he's been asking his wife to give him that she just, for whatever reason, hasn't. Either she refused or maybe she didn't take him seriously. She just was like, it's fine. We're good. We're fine. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that deep. And it's one of those where it's like, to me, it's like not so black and white. There's, yes, this guy made a mistake in the cheating of the wife, but then there's also, okay, what was your part in this? And maybe there was no part. Maybe she did everything right for her husband. She cooked his meals for him. She was sexy for him. She put on the lingerie. She rubbed his head when he wanted his head rubbed. She would, take care of the kids and do all of the things. And he still dipped out and cheated. Well, then that's a different story. Then that's like, bruh, you got some problems, But in the other situation, I say that that's a good self-reflection of like, let me see if I have some ownership in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got on that tangent. I forgot.
No, I know exactly what you're trying to say. And I understand that's maybe polarized to some people. But there's usually cause and effect in life. Let's just be honest. And does it mean that what he did in that scenario was right? But there's got to be some accountability to how you guys got to that point.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what, thank you again for saying the ultimate way. I appreciate that. Everybody rewind to what he just said.
I have a dopamine hit right now. I'm really like loving this conversation. I feel like a natural high. It's awesome. We'll land the plane with these final two nuggets. I know for you personally, faith plays a really important role. For me, I grew up a Jewish kid from Long Island. But if I'm being honest, like the last couple of years specifically, religion isn't as important to me as my relationship with God. And I'm developing that and working on each and every single day. And I've never been more alive and available, and life is just really exciting for me. I'm curious for you, like, was faith always a big part of your life, and how big is it today?
I love what you just said. You're more available. Like that's really powerful. Thinking about, I'm available to think about God, to receive like, oh, all of that is powerful. Faith has always been important part of my life, but it's evolved and it looks different than it used to. I grew up, my early single digit years, we were not religious, but then We started going to Catholic church, and I did the whole communion and catechism and all that kind of stuff. Then my parents got divorced and we had to leave the Catholic church, and we started going to Christian churches, non-denominational Christian churches. And so I grew up very much in the youth group, on fire for the Lord, going to all the Christian conferences and youth conferences and women's conferences, girls conferences, all the things. Like, loved my faith foundation in that season of my life. It was exactly what I needed. It was right. It was the foundation that I needed. And I'm so grateful for those years. The woman that I am today, where my faith is at today, I would say is I've taken God out of the box that I have put God in, called Christianity, in the way I've always done faith and God. It looks like this. And then I took the box away, and God became so expansive and so much bigger than I could comprehend. And I couldn't put answers to it that we had always had answers for growing up. And sometimes those answers growing up look like, well, some things we're just not meant to understand. And I'd be like, yeah, but this excludes some people. Like, what do you mean only Christians go to this place called heaven? So does that mean that heaven looks really white and American? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you're saying only Christians go to heaven, and I think about Japan, where only 2% of that country is Christian. So are you telling me that 98% of that country is going to hell when they die? And not just this generation, but generations past, and all their ancestors went to hell? I don't understand. I don't subscribe. And I grew up just thinking like, well, there's some things we won't understand. And then I got to a point where I was like, yeah, but if I just stay there, that excludes a lot of people. And I don't think that's God. I don't think that's love. And God is love. So I don't think we're right on this one. And so I started to unsubscribe from thinking that I have grown up as this is my foundation and who I am. So my faith today is more available to receive wisdom from different things, from energy, from chakras, from meditation, from all of these other things. And I feel like I am at a really good place with my relationship with God, where I can tune in and feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, even in my faith. And it was a scary, scary thing to start this deconstruction, to start this walk away from what I considered my foundation. As you start walking this path away from everything that was your life growing up, and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I believe this. Ooh, I don't know if I believe it. It's a really scary place to be. It's scary self-work for any of your listeners that do subscribe to Christianity and have asked themselves these same questions and find themselves in this place of like, oh, I don't know if I believe this or if I believe that or what it is. It's scary, brave, bold work to actually ask the questions and go on the journey by yourself with God and say, God, who are you? What is church culture that I've subscribed to? What is politics? And what is just you, God? Like, I just want to see you for who you are. That is a scary, but very fulfilling journey.
That was so beautiful. Straight up, I'm like mesmerized. I think I was meditating while you were speaking, but I agree. Like, religion and politics have become so divisive, like, right? Like they divide us, right? It shouldn't be like that, in my opinion, and yours too. And kudos to you for having the courage to ask questions and to explore, right?
Yeah.
And to remove that box, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. It was hard, and it still is sometimes, but not as when I first started. It was very lonely, because you're like cutting ties with, all your church friends and like people who you're like, I unsubscribe from this and I don't believe this anymore and whatever. And it's almost like metaphorically, I found myself in this little tiny boat drifting further away from land, and like picture at night and you can see the city lights on the land, and I'm on this little boat and I'm cutting myself off from things that I no longer believe. and the boat's just drifting further and further away, and the city lights are getting further and further away. And I'm now in this place in the abyss, like this ocean of just darkness. And I'm like, well, now I know what I don't believe, but what do I believe? And it's that journey of getting back, reconstructing your faith, finding out, what do you believe then? If you don't believe that, that's great, but what do you believe? That's hard work too.
Oh yeah. But that's where all the real growth happens, after the hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you agree with this? There's no stronger or more powerful confidence or self-belief than believing in something a little bit bigger than us that has our back.
Sure. Absolutely. I definitely believe in that. I have to believe that there's something bigger and greater that I can tap into.
Yeah. This is some pretty deep stuff. My favorite part is, and my intuition usually serves me right, it's just the beginning of the friendship. You got a lot of awesome things going on right now. We have over 3 million now. What's the best way for the community audience to support you? And what are you most excited about right now?
Oh, thank you for asking. I would say people can find me on social media. You can find me Anjelah Johnson, Anjelah Johnson on, Instagram, TikTok, all the social media things. You can get my book, Who Do I Think I Am? Stories of Chola Wishes and Caviar Dreams. Is Who Do I Think I Am? Is stories of self-identity. Growing up Mexican and American, but I didn't speak Spanish. My last name was Johnson. I wanted to be a Chola real bad, but nobody was scared of little Payasa Johnson. Like, it didn't have the same state with it. So it's stories of self-identity, but it's also, who do I think I am to dream such big dreams and go for them? Like, who do I think I am to say something outrageous like I want to be an actress? What did I know about being an actress? Nothing. I was this little Mexican girl from San Jose. I knew nothing about being an actress. The audacity to say I want to be an actress and move to Hollywood to try to make it happen. So it's also, who do I think I am to dream such big dreams? So it's stories of me chasing my dreams, how I got to where I am today, the ups and downs, all of that. So you can get my book on Audible, listen to me read it to you myself. You can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, wherever you get books. You can get tickets to my tour. I'm currently touring. And I have my 6-hour special. I'm not sure where it's going to land yet, but once it does come out, if you can watch that, that would be amazing. Yeah, that's how you can support me.
You're on fire for life. It's so contagious. Don't you also have a podcast?
Yes, I forgot I have a podcast. Okay. I totally forgot I have a podcast. Please listen to that too. So I have a couple of different podcasts. The main one is Knights of the Round Table. That's me, my husband, and our friend Brandon. And sometimes our friend Elise joins us. And these are 4 Christian kids who grew up, either their dad's a pastor, my husband went to Bible college. I was very, interwoven in the church, and it's our deconstruction from religion and our reconstruction of our faith. So it's all of the hard questions, the journey. So especially if you're on that journey yourself, you can go back and listen to some of our old episodes and find yourself in there. So there's that, Knights of the Round Table. There's Manjela, which is my husband, Manny and Angela. And we just talk about relationship stuff. And then Ghost Stories with Angela is one of my favorites, but I'm on hiatus right now because it's basically a paranormal podcast where I just go live with fans. They tell me their ghost stories, their actual ghost stories that happened to them. And it's live where people can chime in and leave comments and stuff and ask questions about the ghost story. And I had a really creepy thing happen in one of my last episodes to where I had to go on hiatus because I'm like, I'm not going to do this until I actually have a team of like producers and people around me. Cause I was just doing it in this studio by myself at night and it was just way too creepy. So I was like, I need to go on hiatus until I actually can get like a team around me. So, but that's the one that people always, when are you bringing ghost stories back? And I'm like, listen, it's real creepy. I got to wait till I have a security team around me.
Well, listen, you asked for it, right? If you're talking about that topic.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, I get it. I get it. I'm talking about it. I'm inviting.
You're available for it.
I'm available for it. So what do I expect? So it was definitely one of those things that I was like, okay, listen, I want to do it, but I got to wrap my brain around how. So give me a minute.
I love all this stuff. And for the audience, you know, I'm very intentional with who we collaborate with. It's a no-brainer. Go check out all the stuff she has going on. How can I personally support you, Anjelah?
Ah, show me love. Um,
Sold.
yeah, I don't know, just like you said, beginning of a new friendship. Like, how can you support me? How can I support you? How can, like, I pour your cup, you pour my cup, and we just keep doing this, you know? And that's what you do with your friendships. It's just like that always, you know?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Stay on. I want to connect with you for a second.
Okay.
This was too much fun. Anjelah, I want you to know you're the definition of perspective, humility, and growth from taking your life experience to spreading positivity, light, and deep truths. You're a true visionary, role model, and beacon of hope for anybody coming up today with big goals and aspirations. I can personally guarantee your best yet to come. Keep on spreading your wings and leaving your mark on this world. So much love and respect for you. Thank you so much for stopping by and dropping these priceless nuggets today.
Thank you.
That was too much fun.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. That was awesome. Let's build a friendship.
I love that. Where, so you live in New York right now?
Yeah, I'm in Manhattan. It's the Big Apple behind me.
Yeah. What's funny is there was a boat in the window that was just like parked. And I was like, and there was no movement happening in the water. And I was like, is that a poster? Does he have a fake background? And then I saw the boat leave and I was like, oh, it's real.
Everybody always thinks that all the celebrities that are on, they're like, "Oh, I thought that was a painting, and then I saw a helicopter."
Yeah. Your painting's moving.
That's
Um,
awesome.
we are coming to New York, my husband and I. We'll be there December 11th through the 18th. And we're just coming to hang because we love to do Manhattan during Christmas time and see all the fun decor and all the fun things to do and all of that. So would love to connect with you while we're there.
If you guys are up for it, I'd love to grab a cup of coffee. I'll bring my fiance, bring husband.
Let's do it.
Let's stay connected. Do you have your phone? Text me.
Okay. Okay. What is your number?